So, Texas is banning abortions. So, here's the deal with this. They're banning abortions at 6 weeks. And in doing so, what they're doing... Oh, man. Here's the problem with the Texas abortion ban. It makes no exception for rape. It makes no exception for incest. It makes no exception for anything. For nothing. And the Supreme Court has decided not to hear a case on the stay of the law going into effect. This is from NPR. And an article that they just put out today. With the Supreme Court, a new law went into effect in Texas that bans abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy. That's well before many women even know they are pregnant. The law allows private citizens to sue abortion providers and anyone else who helps a woman obtain an abortion, including those who give a woman a ride to a clinic or provide financial assistance to obtain an abortion. Private citizens who bring these suits don't need to show any connection to those who are suing. I'm sorry, those they are suing. Let me read that again. You want to talk about creating a police state? The law allows private citizens to sue abortion providers, not just abortion providers, anyone who helps a woman obtain an abortion, including those who give a woman a ride to a clinic. Look, that includes the Uber driver that may be taking them to the appointment that doesn't know what the appointment's for. This law is ridiculous. On its face, it's ridiculous. And these are private citizens that can bring the suits. They don't have to have any connection to the child. They don't have to have any connection to the mother. They don't have to have any connection to anybody. Yes. So basically what this law says is that if I found out that my neighbor had an abortion and I had an issue with it, I could sue my neighbor, I could sue the abortion provider, I could sue the person that gave them the ride, I could sue the person that gave them the money. This does not make sense because there would be no standing for that person. There would be no standing because they're not an injured party. That's the problem. The law makes no exceptions for cases involving rape or incest. And here's what the law prohibits. It bans abortion as soon as cardiac activity is detectable. That's around 6 weeks, which is before a lot of people know that they're pregnant. This is the problem. They don't even know they're pregnant. Like, are you kidding me? You're talking about letting strangers file lawsuits against you for a child that you're choosing not to have, potentially before you even know you're pregnant with the child to begin with. What kind of fuckery is this? I mean, we talk about, you know, people on the right wanting autonomy over what they do, over, you know, wearing a mask and, you know, yada, 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 you know. But these women don't have free reign over their own bodies? On what planet does that make sense? On what planet does that make any sense at all? So it's the same as saying the Jews who reported each other to the Nazis. It's essentially that. Yeah, it's very police state-ish. This is like super authoritarian. all my libertarian friends, you know, if they truly are libertarian, they should be up in arms about this, because what this is it's conscription of a woman's body. There's been a long-standing libertarian argument that the litmus test for when an abortion should be allowed by law. Now, I don't agree with this, okay? It's not up to me. It's up to the woman, and that's her choice. But the libertarian argument has often been that, you know, a woman has a right to have an abortion up until the child is viable outside the womb, because a woman should not have to be conscripted to be an incubator for a life. That's the libertarian argument. That originally was a libertarian argument for this. Now we're in an age where people have gone nuts, and all of a sudden, you know, hey, we're gonna ban abortions at 6 weeks before a woman even knows she's pregnant. So she has to carry a baby that she may not be able to even afford to have. For what? So she can give it up for adoption and give it to somebody else? Why is she just now a human incubator? Like, it's ludicrous to me. On every level, as far as like when we talk about our personal liberties, this violates personal liberties. It violates your right to privacy, your doctor-patient privilege, HIPAA. That might as well go out the freaking window for women. Like, it's baffling. It boggles the mind. Does it not? How can you want freedom of... Yeah, exactly, Mike. How can you want freedom of choice for masks and vaccine, but not for women's rights? What is the difference? And it's funny because I keep hearing people on the right use that term now. Well, I'm pro-choice when it comes to their mask or the vaccine. Okay. Well, then you have to appreciate people being pro-choice about abortion. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. The risks are the same. I mean, yes, one baby we know is going to be terminated. But by not doing the vaccine, by not wearing masks, because personal liberty, you are putting other lives at risk. And those are lives that other people really do want. And to me, that seems like there would be more of an opportunity for a lawsuit in situations like that than there would be in filing a lawsuit against somebody for having an abortion whose child is not yours, who you do not know, who has no relation to you. I mean, you could just, you know what could happen? This is going to do some activist shit for our courts, because we're going to have organizations that do nothing but pump out these lawsuits. It's going to clog up the courts so bad. It's horrible. This is an asinine idea. So they're saying, you know, basically they're banning the abortions at 6 weeks. Other states have tried to do this, but the laws have been challenged by abortionist rights groups and blocked by federal courts. Well, yeah, there's precedent. Roe versus Wade precedent. Now, I think Roe v. Wade is a stilt to stand on, and I don't like it. I think that we need to push the legislation through the Congress so that it's not just held up by the Supreme Court, but we also have legislation that states that as well. It makes it a little more unbreakable. This law enforces individuals to enforce an abortion ban. How would that work in practice? Anyone who successfully sues an abortion provider under this law could be awarded at least $10,000. And to prepare for that, Texas Right to Life... Oh, what was I just talking about? Texas Right to Life has set up what it calls a whistleblower website where people can submit anonymous tips about anyone they believe to be violating the law. Oh my God. These lawsuits are not against the women, says John Seago with Texas Right to Life. The lawsuits would be against the individuals making money off the abortion industry itself. So this is not spy on your neighbor and see if they're having an abortion. That's exactly what it is, because how would you know? How would you know if a woman is more than 6 weeks pregnant? How would you know? You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. In a federal lawsuit challenging this, a coalition of abortion providers and reproductive rights groups said the law places a bounty on people who provide or aid abortions, inviting random strangers to sue them. Based. They're right. They're 100% right. Dr. Bhavik Kumar, a family medicine doctor who works for Planned Parenthood in Houston, says the law creating a lot of uncertainty for patients and providers, but Kumar insists he will comply. The ban, though, will likely mean a lot of questions from patients about how they can get an abortion outside of Texas, Kumar said. I know that there are many people who don't have the ability to make it out of state. The logistics and ability to do so is just not an option for them, he said. So I'm really concerned about what's going to happen to the people. This is Kumar. Dr. Gisela Moyetti, an OBGYN, told NPR over the weekend that patients are apprehensive. They understand that the abortion that they're having this week, last week, the week before, is something that they wouldn't be able to do next week. They've been asking about it and asking, if I were here in September, would I be able to get this? What does this mean for abortion laws in other states? If the federal courts ultimately allow this law to stand, it's very likely that other conservative states will move to pass similar laws. Seago, the Texas Right to Life said his organization is working with activists in multiple states who are eager to replicate this model if it succeeds in blocking access to most abortions in Texas. It is still a bit untested. We're still working on what these lawsuits are going to look like if the industry decides to break the law, Seago said. So it is a new model that we're still testing out. So there's a bunch of court challenges on this now, guys. And hopefully this law gets overturned, because I don't care if you're, pro-choice or pro-life. There are ways you can create laws that can do what needs to be done, but this ratting out your neighbor shit, this is straight communist fascist stuff. It's funny to me that people would consider this a conservative stance. This is not a constitutionally conservative stance. You are not standing for the Constitution when you abide this kind of legal shenanigans. And that's what it is. It's chicanery. It's a bunch of tomfoolery. It's people screwing with the courts. It's people screwing with our federal government. And it's people screwing with women's rights, because for some reason, there's a bunch of asshole-ass guys out there that think they should be able to dictate what women do. I guarantee you, most of these people passing these laws are not women. They are men. Duty Doesn't Care says, I don't like abortions. However, having children in today's society is difficult. The foster care system is shit. Agreed. Look, would I want somebody that I was with, or, a family member to have an abortion? Absolutely not. It would be heartbreaking to me. I care about all life, you know, in whatever small form it may be. But see, that's the thing. That's her choice. It's not my choice. No matter how my feelings are about it, no matter what I feel about it, I'm not the one put in the medical circumstances. I'm not the one compromising my body for 9 months. I'm not the one doing these things. I don't have any leg to stand on to try to tell a woman that she needs to carry a baby for 9 months that she either doesn't want, can't have, or can't afford. That's ludicrous. That's absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that people want to stand on that platform, it just baffles me. It baffles me. I think if that's the case, then every time a guy blows a load, he should be turned in. If he's not blowing a load to reproduce, then damn it, his neighbor better call the cops on him. That's right. If a guy gets caught jerking off and he blows his load, call the freaking cops on him. Because you know what? He just wasted a bunch of lives. Right? Same thing, right? You could have had an all-star basketball player in there, you know? People are dumb. Like, and it's harmful and it's painful to the people that they're hurting. You know, like, obviously it's painful to people that are hurting, but like, they don't realize the consequences of their actions and they just don't care. They don't care about what they impose on somebody else. They could give a shit less. And you know what's weird is you have these states that have a really shitty social safety net. They have really shitty foster care systems. They have, you know, their infrastructure is dog shit. Their education is dog shit. And these are the countries, these are the states that are passing these kinds of laws. It's like, why do you want these people to have these kids so that they can grow up in misery? Is that your aim? You want these kids to grow up in pain? You want them to live a tortured existence? Because okay, if you're gonna force them to have kids, then God damn it, you better have Medicare for all. You better have free college tuition from nursery school all the way up through the university. Or if they want to go to a trade school. You know? You better have a system set up to make sure that they are taken care of. And you know what? That does not happen. That is not happening right now. That is not happening right now. All the states that want this shit passed or are doing shit like this have horrible social safety nets. They don't even give a shit about the kid after it gets out of the womb. They could give one fuck about the kid once it's out of the womb. Yes, I said it again. They don't care. The only thing they care about is making sure that baby gets out into the world. As soon as it's out, no education for you. No health care for you. Oh. Your mom can't afford you? Okay, you can go into the shitty foster system that is responsible for a lot of our child trafficking. Great. Good job. Yeah. That's my problem. You want it both ways. You want to put these kids out of the world and then leave them to their own devices. What the fuck is this? 300? Is this ancient Greece? Are we fucking Sparta and shit? Is this how we operate? Have we not learned to become better human beings than this? There is a moral failing with people like this. There is a moral failing. Because everything that they're about is brutality. It's brutality. It's brutality to let people starve in the streets. It's brutality to put people in a horrible foster care system because you didn't want their mother to have an abortion. It's brutality not to provide medical care for them. It's brutality like they did in that county in Wisconsin where they pulled free student lunches because they didn't want to spoil the kids. You didn't want to spoil the meekest among us, who that might be their only meal for the day. It all ties back because they want to control a woman's body. They want to dictate what she does with it, with her body. They want to mandate this baby is born. But as soon as it is, they don't want any role. They don't want any responsibility. Well, make up your fucking mind. What do you want? Are you going to take responsibility forcing this kid into the world? Or are you going to leave this poor woman alone, let her make up her own decisions that are probably extremely difficult for her, decisions no woman wants to make? Give me a fucking break. Texas, you're fucked.